The financial industry is often ruthless and unfair. However, these claims serve merely to frighten those wanting to become rich. Basically, anyone may attain millions of dollars in their account by following the laws of riches, having success with money, and having a successful financial experience. The most unconscious billionaire in history, Andrew Carnegie, would be a great illustration of this. He was one of the earliest billionaires in human history. What were his principles, and how might learning from his success help you acquire more wealth? We're Deluxe Living, and we're here to give you a taste of how the 1% live. Today, let's all learn about Andrew Carnegie's key to his enormous success. Don't forget to like this video, press subscribe, and hit that notification bell so we can keep you up to date with everything deluxe and more. The name Carnegie is now associated with deals and books whose titles begin with How, which were printed in millions of copies. On the other hand, everyone who read newspapers 100 years ago knew that Carnegie was just Andrew. At the beginning of his writing career, Dale Carnegie himself changed the spelling of his last name from Carnegie to Carnegie. Like Andrew, who was by at that time already dead, he was guided by a simple calculation. At the time, Andrew Carnegie's last name was linked to success, and it served as a reminder of a guy who had accumulated more riches than John Rockefeller and John Pierpont Morgan. If one were to rank current and former billionaires according to inflation or the share of their money in the global GDP at that time, Andrew Carnegie would come in first among businessmen and fourth overall, trailing the great rulers of ancient times. Even in another country, the future billionaire started out in extreme poverty. Andrew was actually born in Scotland in 1835, but his parents were compelled to leave the country in search for a better life. Thus, they traveled to the US and established themselves close to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At age 13, having only completed 5 grades, he was forced to work as a coiler in a spinning mill, earning $1.5 each week. Andrew would eventually climb to become one of business history's wealthiest individuals. In order to live a successful life, Carnegie followed these rules. From your early years on, progressively advance your career. The young Andrew's next job was a boiler stalker in the basement of a manufacturing facility. This job was much easier than being a coiler. He was also given an additional $2. Due to his beautiful handwriting, he was soon transferred to the office. Other teens would have made plans after escaping that industrial nightmare, but not Andrew. Later, he departed from the ideal office setting to work as a street messenger. However, it was a telegraph during that time. The telegraph, the most recent invention, opened up previously unimaginable horizons. But commercial use did not begin until 1837. Thomas Scott, the manager of the Pennsylvania Railroad Company's local branch, chose Andrew as his personal telegrapher. For the position, Scott was paying him $35 every month. He was only 18 years old when, in just 5 years, he had his initial income increased 30 times and, more importantly, made friends with Thomas Scott, his supervisor, who went on to become his business partner. Rather than saving, put it to work for you. Like Carnegie, the average 18-year-old had to decide whether to save money or spend his salary on leisure activities. But Andrew chose the third option. He invested the money in stocks. Carnegie had already begun buying new shares, just utilizing the dividends from the old shares. It seemed like the take it or leave it approach did not apply to him. Remember, there were no how-to-get-rich classes back then, and Andrew's education was limited to only 5 grades, so you can imagine how uncommon this was for a young person from a low-income working-class family. However, he would borrow a new book from the nearby library every week. Even so, business manuals weren't yet accessible. In addition, Carnegie mortgaged his parents' property and took out loans from his old co-workers to buy stock in the Adams Express Railroad Company. Both the telegraph and the railroad were state-of-the-art innovations at the time. Therefore, it is just right to refer to Carnegie as one of the first venture capitalists. He also made precise projections. In a year and a half, his $50,000 investment in shares increased to $630,000. Carnegie kept investing in railroads, bridge building, and oil companies. It's noteworthy that Carnegie was already acquiring additional shares purely using the revenue from its existing holdings. Invest in new markets while weighing the risks and the logic. By buying stock in companies that build bridges, Carnegie might be guided by precise vision and even calculation. Infrastructure building was essential because the US was basically starting from scratch. Oil exploration was nevertheless a venture capital business at the time. Carnegie was merely using the villagers' rumors about where oil may be found as his guide, buying land lots in most remote areas of the country. He experienced both good and terrible luck in equal measure. For 30 years, Carnegie purchased plots with a combined area of 20,000 hectares, but was unable to sell them since he never received the black gold from them. Nevertheless, the oil-bearing property he purchased for $40,000 generated $1 million in annual income over the course of 10 years and was worth $5 million. Get motivation from $2.50. Carnegie received a $2.50 incentive when he started his career. He handed his parents this money to help them support their family. When Carnegie realized he wanted to be wealthy, but not for himself, he said, "No subsequent victory in recognition thrilled me more than this one. Back then, I felt like I was in heaven." He wanted to have enough money to provide a comfortable life for his parents. Once he developed motivation, Carnegie's excitement and performance significantly improved. He lacked the drive to help himself, but he was determined to support others. Therefore, whether you're striving for your parents, your kids, or those who don't even know your name, you need to constantly have an incentive to push through the obstacles in your way to success. Yeah, whoever you're striving for, just remember to hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome videos like this one. Utilize the 9x10 rule. This incident had a significant impact on Carnegie's life. It is about an elderly man whose life has been horribly full of events. Residents of the town expressed their condolences to the elderly guy, but he replied, "Yes, my friends, everything you say is true. I have lived a long life of misery. There is one curious fact. 9/10 of my troubles were not really there." After hearing that story, Carnegie came to the conclusion that most of the problems and concerns that we have are unfounded. Our minds have a tendency to think of the worst-case scenario and respond accordingly. However, most of the feared negative events never came to pass. Even so, things do not turn out to be as bad as they first appear. By constantly reminding himself of their rule of 9x10, Carnegie conquered his fear of the unknown and was able to take the risks necessary to achieve significant success. Come out of the shadows. A young guy visited Carnegie's office one day to interview him and learn more about his accomplishments. The story of Andrew Carnegie's journey from poverty to prosperity and his close business association with John Rockefeller might have sparked the young man's curiosity. But Carnegie gave him a different message. The most crucial trait in his life, according to Carnegie, was the ability to put his troubles behind him and smile at life. He asserted that possessing millions of dollars in riches was not as important to him as being able to see the bright side of things. Carnegie said, "Young people should know they can develop this, that the mind, like the body, can be moved from shadow to light. This is also true in business. Since the constraint of the negative outlook in his life was eliminated, Carnegie was able to concentrate on the positive aspects of life, recover quickly from failures, and seize opportunities that others have missed." The key to success. Unquestionably, one of a person's most valuable assets is experience. Although it is precious, few people are able to fully utilize it. You can become extremely rich by following the same life lessons that made Andrew Carnegie wealthy. The most crucial thing is to act bravely and confidently. Do that and you will succeed. If this video inspires you somehow, I'm sure you'll want to watch our other awe-inspiring videos as well. Press the like button and subscribe for more deluxe living.